Over 7 years, ICLEI Africa's UNA program has helped local governments in 8 African cities build resilience by integrating nature-based solutions into land use planning and decision-making processes. The experience has gifted us with many rich lessons on how to drive sustainable change in a context characterized by widespread informality and rapid urban growth, but also endless opportunities for innovation. First and foremost, we've learned that for a program to be effective, it needs to build on existing work and align closely with needs identified by city actors themselves.
UNA at its core is needs-based. The program meets cities and its residents where they are. Our work is being extremely tailored and context-specific. This is the only way to enable long-term behavioural and institutional change and build African leaders that can take the work forward long into the future.
Something learned across all cities is that asking cities what they really need and want, and not being that rigid top-down organization kind of development agency figure, can produce really amazing and successful results. So instead of having the structure already in place, you need to get on the ground and ask people what they actually need.
I think one key to its success has also been that it has been designed to plug into already ongoing work within the cities to actually help the city officials to do the work that they already have on their table.
We've also found that to make a difference in a rapidly evolving landscape, flexibility, humility, and constant re-evaluation are vital.
I think for me, one key learning has been how important it is to practice adaptive management to keep the program both updated and relevant.
Cities are so dynamic and so innovative, and I think to be able to work in that urban space, you need a project that can adapt and can be demand driven.
So there's always a sense of asking the question, you know, what, are we doing the right thing? Do we have the right people on board still? Is this working?
It's become clear that there's no knowledge like local knowledge, and that plans must be co-developed with community members so that they reflect the viewpoints of all, including the disempowered.
Part of the makeup of the UNA program is working so closely with urban communities, working on the ground with large groups, small groups, but making sure that no one is left behind.
An inclusive approach, we found, inspires the very people who are closest to the problem to take ownership of nature-based solutions.
Ownership is so important, and if you can tailor your actions to such a way to give your city officials or your stakeholders, whoever they may be, a sense of ownership, they're much more likely to take forward the work that you do.
Ultimately, along the way, we've come to understand that the journey is as important as the destination.
So we found that mainstreaming sustainability solutions isn't as simple as just producing resources or information and then searching for entry points in decision making in which these resources, information can be embedded. Such entry points often need to be created. And we've learned that the most effective way of creating these is to facilitate a process that brings together a range of people from different backgrounds to co-produce knowledge, to jointly reflect, to problem solve, and to build relationships. And it's this journey and the learnings and partnerships that come out of this journey that typically unlock an array of opportunities that are absolutely critical for successful mainstreaming. And we've seen evidence, so much evidence of that using this approach and that this process-focused approach to generate these entry points is critical for achieving long-term success. And it's why we feel that any work in this sphere must look at supporting city officials so that they are better able to facilitate these sort of processes, and so that they come to see them as a key part of their role.
The 2020 COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the world's awareness of root challenges, that if not addressed, the next health pandemic will hit us just as hard, and our response to the biodiversity crisis and climate emergency will fall seriously short. Structural inequality continues to place the poor and vulnerable most at risk of becoming seriously ill from diseases, at risk from losing their livelihoods due to biodiversity loss, and at risk from their homes being washed away year after year due to climate-induced flooding. So to answer this question, I think all programs in all sectors, including our work at ICLEI, must focus explicitly on well-being and inequality, with dedicated thought, time and resources to making sure all interventions prioritize the poor and most vulnerable as radical agents of change. UNA has always had strong social justice, community empowerment and well-being elements to it, but my recommendation is that these are scaled further and the successful piloting of nature-based solutions that improve well-being are implemented in many more African cities. Resources are required to do this, and thus going forward, a deeper focus on unlocking finance for nature-based solutions is needed. And key to this is transforming the structural and institutional landscape that has led to nature being undervalued.
When it comes to nature-related projects in Africa, one of the biggest challenges we face is accessing finance. We therefore believe that future work in this area needs to focus on equipping our city officials with the necessary tools to make stronger arguments for nature so that it becomes a priority and larger budgets are allocated towards it. In order to do this, we need to work even harder than we have been at building stronger working relationships between local and national government in order to shift the way that finance flows.
It can be challenging to make the jump from planning to impactful implementation. Going forward, cities need more help to lay the kind of solid foundation that makes practical interventions not just possible, but successful, scalable, and sustainable.
Continue creating enabling environments for the cities to both understand and themselves implement nature-based solutions to different challenges that they are facing.
The call from the cities for action and for implementation to see how we can support that moving forward, be it connecting to funders or helping with project design, but really being able to move from the vision to the action.
Your life is richer, it's better, it's more secure, it's more resilient, and it's healthier and happier if you are connected with nature. If our cities provide an interface for humanity and the urban communities living in these cities to have a deep connection with nature and experience nature and be part of it in their everyday lives, it leads to a more healthy and happy environment for all people and planet, for those who live in the cities. And UNA is a fantastic example of a program that allows that and that fosters that. So I would say for the UNA community, for all cities participating in UNA, a first step could be just simply to join Cities with Nature, a global initiative bringing cities from around the world together who are all committed to mainstreaming nature into the everyday lives of their urban communities.